Welcome to Belief Busters Podcast, where we change the world one belief at a time. True transformation happens when we question if the beliefs we hold are of truth, or simply someone else's belief that we have internalized as our own. I'm your host, Rev. Sheree Taylor-Jones, and I'm glad you could join us on the journey.
This is part 2 of America's Founding Fathers. If you haven't already listened to the first one, please pause now and go and listen to part 1 of the discussion, in which we look at the myths and legends that we have come to believe about our founding fathers, those who wrote the Declaration of Independence, and then really trying to ask the questions of what is true and allowing ourselves to challenge the dominant narrative. So I hope that you'll enjoy this conversation. Rosie, what I'm doing here, I am in Austin, Texas. I'm a Northeast girl. And I was told all these stories about the Deep South. And they were terrifying stories of the Deep South. But I came here, Spirit was very clear. This is yours to do. I got hired at a Unity large community here in Austin. And I kept asking the question before I got here, really, are you sure? Because I think somebody else is scheduled to be in Texas. And I remember hearing my guides, go, you can ask it as many different ways as you want to, but the answer is still going to be the same. You're to be in Austin, Texas. And I came to this large community. It's one of Unity's kind of flagship churches. During COVID is when I came. So everything was very different. Yeah. I learned that Texas is very patriarchal, that the men lead and the women should ask permission for whatever they want to do. And that's not the remit that I come from. My title was CEO and senior minister. And I thought things were really going well. Right before I left, we had about 550 people as people attending on Sundays. I had just finished a fundraiser at the end of October that raised about $34,000 for the community. And then the first week of November was the annual meeting. They wanted things the way that they used to be. That's understood. Okay. So at that point, I left. And I still got guidance that I'm supposed to still be in Austin. And then probably about 25 people started saying, we need to start something ourselves. And I was clear with them that I wouldn't really start anything unless it was a group effort. My mission is that as we fill up with spirit and truth, that we then go out in the world and make a difference in people's lives. So it's not just this theoretical inward journey, and then you stay there. It's an inward journey, and then you go out into the world. So that's kind of the ethos of this community. And it's not under the Unity umbrella. It's not under religious science. I'm ordained in both Unity and religious science. So it's a non-denominational New Thought community. I'm doing it now since the beginning of April. And we're both online and live. And it's an amazing community. I mean, I love them, and it's I haven't dealt with something from the ground roots before. I've always gone into established communities, so it's a little different animal, and it's a lot of things to learn, to be frustrated about, to be in awe of. So that's it in a nutshell. I hope that was clear for everyone.
Yeah, and so you do services
Yes,
on Sunday when?
3 p.m. 3 p.m. on Sunday, and that's Central Standard Time, 3 p.m.
Wow.
Which is a different mindset again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, than the standard church service, anywhere from 9 till 11. And I think it's really turning out to be a little bit like the Fillmores in a way, not that I'm anything like them, but that they would encourage people to go to church, go to your church, go to your church service. And then in the afternoon, let's come and talk about metaphysics. Let's talk about awakening consciousness. So I kind of like it. It's weird. I am not a 3 o'clock in the afternoon gal. Usually by that time it's like services and everything are over and I'm like in the chair. So it's a different energy I've got to kind of switch into. But I think it's, if I really want to get beyond religious ideology, we've got to do it differently, don't we? So
Yeah.
I'm switching.
Vulnerability you have, Reverend Sheree, and that stepping into a larger center and then abruptly, because I have experienced that myself, and recognizing in my heart that there was something else. I had a similar experience in Fort Lauderdale. Won't go into detail, but came from LA to Fort Lauderdale to a large, significant number of people church that I'd never served that large before, and ultimately stepped out because they couldn't afford 2 co-pastors. But when I did, and there was also a group of people that didn't want me there from the very beginning because I was kind of inappropriate on stage. I would jump up and down and get a little too excited, and so, and that wasn't appropriate, especially for a gay man as old as I was. So in the meantime, dealing with that and moving on, I created a wonderful work independent called Bridges Spiritual Centers for, I was there for about 11 years. And then the call to come to Montana that happened at Big Sky Retreat. And the same thing that you knew you were supposed to come to Austin, that, and you were doing all the inquiries. So really, you got to be kidding.
Correct.
But I had the heart of wanting to be in the mountains, but had all the factors of, well, you don't have any financial foundation to come. How are you going to earn a living? Well, the ultimate reality, 2020 and COVID shook us all to realize, yes, we can start over. And the work that we're doing now with MYOB is the most challenging and sometimes scary that I've ever been a part of. And we are working as a board to see our growth so that we have 30, 40 people coming on board here. That takes time and work, especially in a Zoom. But I love that when you ask where everyone was from, and it was we had representatives of all over the country. And
that was
just
cool.
I had a few from all over.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I'm doing something okay. But anyone else to contribute and add?
Thank you, Reverend Sheree, for that powerful presentation. And while you were speaking, I keep going back in my mind as to the majority versus the minority, and I can't help but noticing that seemingly the minority tend to be wielding more power than the majority, and the majority is like sitting back. Yes, we're the majority, they're pouting and they're fussing and they're making all kinds of you know, statement in in the misery, but at the same time, it's the minority, the fewer numbers that seem to be carrying all kinds of despicableness, including January 6th and stuff like those. You know, I'm talking about, and you know, abortion rights and all different stuff that we hear in the media, and the justice system is seemingly supporting the minority, and we keep going and we keep puffing and we keep and we're just pouting. However, the minority keeps marching forward, getting stronger and stronger and wielding their power. So yes, Dr. Charles, you said, how are we to um, move forward here? Yeah, we can look forward with awareness, and we can pray, we can hold hands, and we can hold our consciousness, and of course we all been doing that. However, it seems that the minority is still perpetrating their stuff. And if you allow me, I could preach a whole sermon on that, but I would like to hear what you are. I'm from the Caribbean. I was born and raised in Jamaica. Okay. And I came here and I was really shocked. I was shocked into the reality of some of the things that I meet upon here, coming from a country where we were ruled by Britain, actually. So we are more, British kind of, as opposed to some of the Caribbean nations, which are French and otherwise. So a lot of things seem strange to me. But however, I'm here and I keep scratching my head. I don't know where to go. So anyhow, thank you so much for listening to my rantings here.
They're not rantings. They really aren't rantings. You're just voicing what a lot of us are thinking and feeling. And I really appreciate that. And I believe in the power of prayer. And we also have to move our feet. It's an and. I think sometimes in New Thought circles, we get so caught up in going within, finding the depth of who we are as spiritual beings. And I think sometimes we get stuck there, because the work is finding the truth of who we are. And then what is the action? What is the action of God in the word, right? I mean, the word is action of God. That's what it means, the word. And then there was the word. So how are we the action of God in the world? So I think, these things are happening. Okay, so here's my thought. My thought is that we are really trying to ascend to the next spiritual tier of awakening. And I think chaos happens before we can create anew. And it's happening very rapidly. There's just like, one day it's this, the next day it's the other, or even just hours, there's change going on, and it's change that we don't really appreciate. And I see it as a call. It's a call for us as these divine human beings. How are we going to make a difference in the world? What's ours to do? So for me, it's like when I do my talks, I'm always a little nervous, because I feel like my role is to be a prophet, right? And not from a grandiose perspective, but prophets were not well liked, first of all, right? Two, they spoke from the heart of spirit of what's happening in the world right now and what's ours to do. So, I think we have to do some actions if we don't like the direction that things are going in. And we can take action with love. We can take action with light. It doesn't mean going to war. It doesn't mean, having a revolution, but it does mean showing up in our highest selves for the good of community, the good of humanity, the good of for our brothers and sisters.
Yes, thank you for your insight. Yes, I'm beginning to see the unfolding as you would put it. So it's like it's the chaos and then the peace and the calm and then the chaos. It's like possibly the natural way of how the creator probably created things to be. Swing in and you swing out and you. So I guess it makes sense. Makes sense. So it's just how we show up during the chaos and the turmoil that will make a difference. How fast we stand and how much boundaries we can push while we're there. It's like when we're in the chaos, there's a call for us to do something, and if we don't do that thing, then the thing keeps going on. Oh, you're right. Thank you. That was fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good, great. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, Reverend Sheree, you referenced quite often in your sharing of the lifting of the veil, of the untruths that we have taken in and absorbed, and the lifting of the veil. And there's great resistance in that. And we're seeing the great resistance in that because it's a change of identity. And it's terrifying for those that have held on to the power, to the belief systems that one body is superior to another, primarily in the white supremacist concept of that belief system, but that it is the intense chaos that erupts when you are in a quantum change of identity. And I think we can look at that individually in our lives, at certain things and moments and events that changed everything as we knew or understood it personally. That's been my experience in many moments. And this is happening collectively now. And so the strength and what you referenced, the continuity of our spiritual practice and of our walking in and standing for authenticity. And, when any young person that I do come across, and I don't come across a lot in my spectrum here in Montana, but when I do, I go up to them and say, do you know how important you are? I just want you to know that it is so vital that whatever your life choice, that it is to see that we all come together in future generations in a greater love for one another, and never miss an opportunity. And it's amazing. And plant your seeds wherever you go, and walk in with that inner glow of valuing who you are and standing in a great reverence that this is what you want for everyone. So, and I can't tell you how thrilled, because your depth and your heart, it ties in with what I said, that you live this, you walk this, you breathe it, and it shines through, it comes through. So I think we're all in deepest gratitude for you this evening, and I look forward to having more communion with you, and to be there in prayerful mode for you, and as I know you are for me, but that we want to be in prayerful mode for everyone, for all of us, to have the vulnerability and courage to just be who we really are, and want that for everyone that we walk, that we come across, that we experience.
If you are enjoying these conversations about assessing your belief systems and how to transform outdated beliefs, then please subscribe and give us a positive review. To support this podcast and its transformative work, You can also become a sponsor for as little as $5 a month. You can reach Rev Sheree at info@beliefbusterspodcast.org. To continue on this journey of evolution, you can also get my book, Turning Your Why into Why Not, at Amazon or any other bookstores, which gives you practical tools to do this work. See you next time on the flip side.